Yeah, one of the things that I've learned in business that I probably should get this tattooed by now, it's what gets measured gets managed.
I look at my P&L almost daily. I know exactly where, the revenue we need to bring in, and I know what we're going to be paying at the end of every month. I know what's coming. It's not like I'm guessing anymore.
You keep showing up. You keep leaning in. You keep getting curious. You keep investing in yourself. And most people don't do that.
There's so much more peace when you just know where you're going.
Today, I've got a very special guest in the virtual studio, Andrew Jimenez. Andrew is a husband, a father, and the owner of Relentless Plumbing right here in our backyard in Montgomery County. He's been a part of Level Up and Live for going over almost a year now. And what I respect about Andrew is this. He's committed to growth, no shortcuts, just doing the work. And over the past several months, he's gone through Level Up and Live Level 2 and experienced real transformation, not just in his business, but also in his health, his relationships, and how he shows up as a leader. Today, we're going to be pulling back the layers on something most business owners avoid, their numbers. So Andrew, glad to have you on, brother.
Appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely, man. So walk us through it. We're talking at a coffee shop behind the scenes. Before you went into Level 2, what didn't you understand about your business financially that you probably should have, and most of us, before going into and learning about what you've learned in Level 2?
I mean, really just learning my break even, that was a big change for me. Just seeing what I actually need to hit to actually pay my bills for my business every single week. Before, I didn't really know. I was just kind of just working, staying busy, and just, I saw money hit the bank. So I was like, thinking that was good enough. And didn't know my break even, didn't know my expenses, just knew I had bills coming every month and money was coming in, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, one of the things that I've learned in business that I probably should get this tattooed by now, it's what gets measured gets managed. And I find that fascinating because so many of us, we measure these different things. We measure some of us measure our food. Some of us measure our walk. Some of us measure our steps during the day. And it's like we don't measure or look at our profit and losses, our balance sheets in our business and our cash flow. And that's what I'm hearing you say is being able to measure that and stare that down. And I'm curious, man, how was that actually showing up in your business? Or another example would be like, or even your stress day to day. Cause I know that's super stressful. I talk to business owners all the time. It's like, oh, I have money in my bank account today, but tomorrow it's going to be completely different because of net invoices. So with you, how was that actually showing up in your business and your stress day to day?
Oh man, it was pretty bad. I would, if I woke up early to, use the bathroom at 3 a.m. or whatever, and try to lay back down, there's no going back to sleep. I'm constantly thinking, all right, I got invoices out. How much, money do they owe me? How come they haven't paid yet? I'm constantly thinking about, okay, I need to do more. I need to, this much customers today. I need to, go do this many jobs this week. And, yeah, it was definitely weighing on me for sure.
And how long did you do that before you were like, enough is enough? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
I did it for about a year until I found Level Up and Live, man. I did it and I was like, I just knew something needed to change. Didn't really know what I was doing. So I was like, man, I reached out to you and I was like, man, I need the guidance and I need that camaraderie, other business owners, and see what everyone else is doing.
Was there a moment where you were almost forged that made you realize, and in that moment you said, I can't keep running like this. I can't keep showing up like this in my business. I need to understand my numbers. What made you realize that?
I mean, my wife, talking about bigger house, I just knew I have 3 daughters, so I knew that my family was growing, and just, I knew that if I just kept doing this, we weren't going to get there. So I mean, right then and then I knew that I needed some kind of help. And then, I really need to dial in on my numbers and understand and start making decisions based off the numbers instead of just off emotion, off feeling. Because that's typically how I ran my business, was just, I feel like we should do this. That's why I did it. So
Yeah. When you came into level two, what did you think it was going to be? So this was created because of a pain point. So many business owners and leaders like yourself struggle because what they don't know is what they don't know. And what they're really good at is what they're really good at. I'm good at plumbing. I'm good at talking to
Right.
customers. I'm good at HVAC. I'm good at landscaping. I'm good at lawn care. I'm good at insurance. So you were really good at plumbing. You were really good at rolling up your sleeves. So when you came into level two and you had this pain point, what did you think it was going to be going through this curriculum?
I mean, I was hoping for the best. I was hoping that it would actually give me a starting point and, give me goals to actually start achieving. I mean, it's done just that. I mean, it's been an eye opener for me for sure. I look at my P&L almost daily. I know exactly where, the revenue we need to bring in, and I know what we're going to be paying at the end of every month. I know what's coming. It's not like I'm guessing anymore. So
When you came in, because I think you're wrapping up I think you are 3 months in, and you've been showing up every single week and you've been plugging yourself in, you've been getting curious, you've been doing the things that Josh, our lead coach at level two, has been giving you advice on Q&A. What was it actually like once you stepped in? Was there like ever a moment where you had an aha moment, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6? What was it actually like once you stepped into that environment in that room for you?
I mean, yeah, probably week 2. I mean, it was pretty. He gave us a lot of tools. Like one specifically, like the cash flow forecaster. That like I can look in 6 months and see where I want to be based on what I'm producing now. And we have slow seasons in plumbing, so it's like I can plan for that. And whenever those slow seasons do come, I can say, well, we need to do X amount of dollars before that slow season that hits, and then that way I can at least basically manage my guys or find something else for them to do instead of just laying them off, losing good quality help. That's not necessary. And then I'm looking for guys again once it picks back up.
So what I'm hearing you say is, man, that's leadership and that's business ownership. You're being proactive versus reactive. What would you say what's one decision here in the last 3 or 4 months that you've made differently because of, and what you've shared, that you have clarity now?
I mean, I guess just more intentional on my spending. I know what, especially at the beginning of the month, and I don't really spend towards the end of the month. So yeah, I guess I'm more intentional on spending. And then towards the end of the month, I'm more intentional on collecting.
I was thinking of one when I asked that question. Remember the conversation that me and you had about 2 months ago on the big purchase that you were going to be looking at?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Would you mind
Yeah, I
would
mean,
you mind tapping into that and sharing that?
yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I forgot about that. So yeah, I mean, especially like making on the personal side, making the right choices, the right decisions. Like we're looking to upsize and get a bigger house, and it's like, well, one thing you asked me was, well, what'll happen if basically something happens to me, and what'll happen to the business? And I was like, yeah, you're right. I mean, because yeah, I have 2 employees, but if my back hurts or something happens to me, then the business kind of just, it's not a self-oiled machine. It's not working on its own. So got to build the foundation first before you take those big leaps. Otherwise, more stress will come with that. So yeah, definitely eye opener.
What a great example, man. What are you still working on or trying to improve? Because we're always going to be students of the game. We're always going to be showing up every single week. And there's always just that 1% better every single day. So I'm curious with you, man, what are you still working on or trying to improve now that you've got this foundation for you?
My leadership with the guys, basically building that culture, I feel like we got a pretty good culture now, but it's like I just now want to actually start building a team of multiple, admin, and actually get more people on board instead of just plumbers, and just trying to build my leadership every day. And, the guys like working for me, but I feel like I want to keep that and keep that culture, as we grow.
And what are 1 or 2 things that you're doing on a weekly basis to be able to not only be challenged, but also be held accountable so you can become that leader that we know that you have within you?
I mean, just surrounding myself, with other business owners, joining Level Up and Live, going every Friday, going to the round tables, talking about, our highs, our lows, and just yeah, surrounding myself with other business owners that actually push me and help me grow.
You know, one of the things that really separates you from a lot of individuals that I've met over the years, and the ones that look at business and even in personal life, they look at it as a marathon and not a sprint in the marathon. And what I mean by that is you really have that perseverance and that relentlessness to look at things at 30,000 feet, knowing I need to slow down to go fast. Let's be honest, and let's knowing the numbers, the P&L, the balance sheet, working on yourself, looking at the man in the mirror, working on these different skill sets on how to lead your employees and your team, QuickBooks and bookkeepers and CPAs. Like, my energy just went down a notch talking about all that.
Yeah.
That is what it takes. That is who we have to become as leaders, to know a little bit about a lot, and then either delegate, outsource, work through this process, and making sure that at the end of the day, at this marathon, that we are doing the things that we know we're really good at. And you going through this transition, man, what really separates you, and one of the things that I'm learning, that you inspire me on, is you keep showing up. You keep leaning in. You keep getting curious. You keep investing in yourself. And most people don't do that. So I just want to say I'm not only proud of you, but also commend you for the man that you're becoming, for your household, for your business, for your people that work for you. Because it's not easy, man. It's very commendable. It's very aspirational. So you're on the right track.
Appreciate it.
Of course. Now, if there's a business owner listening right now, and there is business owners, leaders, entrepreneurs, who's good at what they do, but doesn't understand their numbers. So if that business owner is like, hey, look, just like we talked about, I'm really good at plumbing. I'm really good at HVAC. I'm really good at insurance. I'm really good at landscaping, but they don't understand their numbers. What would you tell them?
Man, you got to get curious and to me, that's the most important thing, man. Otherwise, you're going to get to a point where you're going to just keep working and then start, asking yourself why you're even doing this anymore. It's like you keep making money, but you keep spending money. And then it's just like, you don't really know. And if you're not priced right, you'll find out so much more if you just get curious and start diving into those numbers. So much different than just plumbing. That's just being a business owner. There's so many different aspects that I'm learning that goes into it. And it's like, yeah, I feel like that's vital to your business for sure. It's just you gotta just learn your numbers and see where you're going and where you want to be.
And what happens if they don't? What happens if they're listening to this, they're like, man, I know I need to do this, but I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing right now and expect these different results. What do you think ends up happening?
Frustration, being irritated. I see guys all the time. It's just like, just in a bad mood. And it's like, that's what happens is like, there's so much uncertainty, and it's like, you become just bitter. And to me, nobody wants to work for somebody like that. So, and there's so much more peace when you just know where you're going.
Man, I love that you share that. And you're right. There is so much more peace because they're in the midst of chaos. Because on a daily basis, if you're an entrepreneur and business owner, you're getting pulled in all these different directions. And knowing that you have that box checked on your cash flow, your P&L, your balance sheet, you're having a bookkeeper that's keeping track of all the transactions. And because it's like, you've talked several times, and behind the scenes, you're like, well, I got this letter from the IRS and I didn't even know what to do with it. But I reached out to my bookkeeper and she knew exactly what to do with it.
Oh, yeah.
That right there, give me heart palpitations, right? And I'm sure people listening to this have probably had the same thing. It's like, oh no, what do I do?
Yep, exactly, man. It's so much when you just get out of that prideful, like trying to save every penny and just start delegating different tasks and like, hey, I'm paying you to figure it out. And it's like, they handle it and it's like, oh, okay, that's done. All right. You can your focus needs to be on growing the business and like leading. For sure. As a business owner.
Now, for a business owner leader that is saying, you know what, I can figure this out on my own. I can YouTube this. I can listen to the Level Up and Live podcast. I can ask people questions and take their time from people that are doing it. but not really invest that time, the financial resources into learning from a coach or a business coach or somebody that's been down the road that you want to go down. Man, help me understand like where your mindset is when it comes to that, because you don't hesitate for a second where if somebody is down the road that you want to go down, whether it's in health, whether it's in a gym, whether it's in business, whatever it may be, the pain point that you're experiencing in your life, you invest in yourself, not only the time, but the financial resources. So give me an example of that. Take me to a moment where like what goes through your mind, because we need to extract that on this podcast today, because so many leaders and business owners, they know they need it. They want it, but they don't take that action. And I want to help them understand and close that gap today on extracting that from your mind. Like what goes through your mind when you're like, do I invest in my time, energy, and effort and pay for this? Or do I keep doing what I'm doing?
Yeah. So me, just what I've seen on, I guess, a common, mindset for me is I always feel like I'm behind. I'm so behind. So for me, it's always like, I do it and then I find out quickly if it's the right move or the wrong move. So for me, it's like I'm always feel like I'm behind. I just like, let me go ahead and invest in this and I'm going to find out pretty quick if it was right move or wrong move for me. So that's pretty much just how I work. I mean, I feel like I'm always been like that. A lot of people tell me now, like, man, I'm proud of you. I've seen you go so far. And I'm like, I'm still not where I want to be. I want to get there. I'm just trying to compress time now. I wish I did this in my 20s, now I'm in my 30s now. So it's like, I'm just trying to just learn from people that are doing more than me. And I'm just trying to learn from them. Like whatever I got to, how much, I'll pay for a coaching session, whatever. I want to know what you know.
Yeah, that's very rare, very uncommon. And I think it's something to take away here, hence why you're on this podcast today. And it's because of who you've become and your mindset around that and you being intentional about investing in yourself. And there could be 1,000 people and 99.9% of us won't do that. But the ones that do are the ones that are speeding up that learning curve. They're cutting it in half. And you're doing that at such a young age. And I won't mention names, but you know it in the Level Up and Live community. Like there's 25-year-olds that have invested thousands of dollars in their selves, books, podcasts, coaching, whatever it may be, to learn from those that have been through the suffering, the trials and tribulations, and cutting that learning curve in half. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. And that's my hope. And that's my encouragement for anyone listening to this is seek and get curious, seek counsel, get help. And that's what we continue to do. And we put that on repeat and speed up that learning curve, right? Well, Andrew, dude, appreciate you being real, raw, and authentic today, man, and really sharing your journey, pulling back the layers. This is what it actually looks like when someone commits to growth, not just talking about it, but actually doing the work. There's a difference there. And if you're listening right now and you've been avoiding your numbers, you know who I'm talking to, or you feel like you're working hard and you're just spinning that wheel, the rat race, but not fully clear on your business, you're not alone. But you don't have to stay there. Come be our guest at Level Up and Live. Reach out to myself or Andrew, ask questions, get curious, get in the right room, and surround yourself with people who are going to challenge you, sharpen you, and help you grow in every area of life. Andrew, proud of you, brother. Let's keep leveling up.
Appreciate you.